Millennium TV.
Good afternoon, world. It's your host, Jania Butler, with the New American Perspective. Today, Wednesday, our noonday. Do we have a show today, people? Okay, let's just get right into it. So, if you're not on planet Earth, then you wouldn't know that Kamala Harris is working toward the nomination for the Democratic nomination for President of the United States coming up at the DNC in August. So a week or so ago, President Biden stepped out as a candidate for 2025 for the presidential election season and passed the mic to MC Kamala Harris, okay? And what's up? She came busting out the door. Now, we talked about this last week. She raised $200 million in a week, and, she's fired up. She's jumping out, and it looks good. Looks real good. But I'm going to have to stop and say 20 million immigrants have entered the country in the last 3.5 years. And I'm going to have to say, people, she did not meet with Ice Cube. So now Kamala's got the black woman surge. She's out there and she's everything. So there's a bunch of stuff going around. Okay, there's a bunch of stuff that people are talking, that people are feeling. Again, black people are being shamed for making a choice outside of the Democratic Party. I don't know how that works. Does being black mean be Democrat? Because a lot of us think that. One of my young mentees asked me, I'm a Democrat because I'm black, right? And that's not her ignorance. She's asking the question. It's with the people who are now educating our people on why or why not they want to be Democrat or Republican. It's an American right. It's a free choice, people. We do not have to side with the Democratic Party who so often fails us. We don't. But not right now, okay? MC Kamala Harris, she came out. She had our ATL rally. She's been everywhere. She's been with the AKAs. She's been pulling everything, okay? She's got the big party started. But she brings out Megan Thee Stallion, superstar Megan Thee Stallion. There's a lot with this, people. So Megan Thee Stallion, if you don't know, she's a superstar, formerly I think she signed under Rock Nation. Don't quote me there. But superstar. She just got a body transformation. Looks very nice. She had a big breakup with Cardi the Barty. Don't quote me on that either. But most importantly, she had an incident with a young man named Tory Lanez. So Tory Lanez, her, and a few others, one of the Kardashians, they were at their house. Kylie Kardashian. I think Tory Lanez started flirting with Kylie. Megan said, "Oh, time to go." They get in the car drunk, and we don't know what really happened. Except bullets were flying, bleeding glass, all kinds of stuff. We don't know what happened because somebody is not telling the truth. So that resulted in Tory Lanez getting 10 years in prison. So he's locked up right now. So Kamala Harris felt, start this off. We're going to bring out the black woman who just put the black man in jail. Oh. So what you trying to say? Trump, do the knowledge now. Trump has bringing and letting black men out of jail. MC Harris is now promoting women who put black men in jail. Then we hear that she used to be a prosecutor in California. Whew. She put a lot of drug offenders in jail, marijuana drug offenders in jail for long periods of time. So how does that make you feel? Now we're rallying around the people that lock us up, that confine us. I don't get it, people. Quavo also came out at the rally. Do the knowledge. Quavo, whose bandmate lost his life during an altercation in Texas, got his head blown off, is now stomping on the campaign trail for MC Harris. And he's out there saying he wants to stop the violence. Now, he went through a horrible ordeal because his cousin got killed right in front of him. Head blown off right in front of him. So I hope this young man is getting counseling and treatment for that. But, there's always a but, the young man wouldn't talk to the police or anything about what happened. Now, that's a catch-22, don't get me wrong. Talking to the police in the urban community is taboo. It could get you hurt. Snitches get stitches. Understand and understood. That's the game you live and play in, and you got to live and die by those rules. Or not. But we know YSL. Woody said, I'm out. I'm done. It's whatever. Not playing with you guys anymore. But Quavo held his mouth. He got up there and he talked about ending gun violence and the need to do it. So the next step, people, they're going to talk about banning guns. You know, the Democrats are against the Second Amendment. They always say they want to take our guns away. I live in New York City. Guns are not now just becoming legal. We're just getting new laws for it. I really don't like the laws around the country for guns because too many people have guns. Too many people are doing too many things with guns. So, not sure. Okay. I want to say a big shout out to Dr. Umar Ifa Tunde. Dr. Umar has a school in creation, the Marcus Garvey Academy, and he is building a school for young people of color to grow progressively. So Dr. Umar has jumped into the political arena because it's important. What we have to understand is that politics can't be pushed aside. Politics can't be, well, I'm working on education, but I'm not working on politics, because the politics, all the money and all the deals are made during these election periods, local elections. So the person that's closest to us, the chain is supposed to go all the way up to the president. Okay, because I figured we need to talk about politics so people understand. Local politics. Pay attention to your local politics, like your city council, your district leaders, your senators, your Congress people. Pay attention to what those folks are doing, because this is ultimately how we get money flowing through our communities. Okay? So Dr. Umar says, we are not going to be feared because, the Democrats are going, Project 2025. This is what they're looking to do. And they're using our ignorance, people, our ignorance to the political process and how things work to scare us out of stepping to the plate and asking for what we want. They're scaring us into that. Then, so Dr. Umar says, the Democratic Party is not going to scare us into not voting for Donald Trump with all of their fear mongering. Oh, they're going to put you back in chains. We're not going back. That was the end of MC Harris's speech over the weekend. We're not going back. Okay. Dr. Umar also said, which I love, we're not going to vote against the Democrats just because we're tired of the Democrats. And what he said, give us a plan. What's the plan, people? Okay? You shouldn't be standing next to any politician that you don't have a plan with, that there's no deal on the table with, that we know what we're voting for. So you people that are jumping around out there without the plan are selling us up the river. All skin folk ain't kin folk. Remember? Well, now we all want to see a plan from both sides. We got to hear it. Now, at this rally, Vice President Harris, she was baiting Trump. She got the young people all, revved up. She's ready. She cocking and, you see her suits too. Her suits are designed to look a little more manly. She's got to look a little more strong. So, her suits are sharp. She looked like a little, there's no sexiness in politics because you don't want to sell sexy, right? You don't want to seem sexy because the men, are sexist as it is. So you don't want to do that. So you see her with the more stern suit, than she's had before. Her suits were a little bit more loose, but now they're positioning her as a presidential. So the appearance and everything is great. Everything is great. It looks good. But then, of course, we got to get into this piece. Is Vice President Harris Miss Black America? Now, I just want to say, if I run for Congress again and I get up there And I say, I am a Dominican American. See my curls, my color? Dominican American from America. I would get stoned. But somehow in this country, somehow they have got our people to believe that anybody that claims black is black. And this is the problem we all have with reparations. Who gets them? Anybody of color? Anybody that been here in the last 50 to 100 years? Who gets the reparations, right? Again, I'm growing up. I can pass for a Dominican. I grew up around Spanish people, Anthony Martinez. Can I say I'm Dominican people? I don't think so. So there's an issue. Is this woman black? I did a little research because, I got to keep it real with my audience. She's not a black woman as we know it in America. She's a first generation American where her parents are from India. Her dad is Indo-Jamaican, okay? Meaning an Indian born in Jamaica, a whole group and a whole class of people. That's like being white in Africa. So now, we always, when Charlize Theron always says, I'm South African. She is. She was born in South Africa, which makes her South African. But does that make her of African bloodline, of African blood descent? Does that do anything else but say she was born in a certain place? So now we have a woman who's pretending. She's pretending. I seen in, her last run for president where she darkened up her face. And she has convinced us that she's not Eastern South Asian, like she's quoted many other times. She went on the Breakfast Club and said, I'm a black woman and I'm not going to apologize for that. What do we think about that, people? I want you to sit on that. I want you to sit on the fact that my family are foundational black Americans. Descendants, direct descendants of slaves here in America. So we sharecropped. At my great-grandmother's house, there was a chicken coop. I went in the chicken coop, people. Oh, gosh. Went in the chicken coop with my great-grandmother. Had to pick up the eggs. Well, I didn't pick them up because I'm a scary Nary like that. But she picked up the eggs, and it felt like I was picking up the eggs because it was dark in there. There was horses. There was cows. There was fields. But her mother was a slave. Her father was an American Indian, a Native American. Now, what does that say when now we've created this worldwide market where people are coming into America and benefiting from all the things that the original Black Americans suffered for, but are not getting any of the benefits. And then a woman who's a first generation American comes in and claims she's a Black American and she was bused to school in Oakland. And Miss Harris, we're going to have to check your record because I'm finding out that you went to They're saying Earthquake, the comedian Earthquake, he's on his line. I don't care. Y'all talking about she not black. She went to a HBCU and she grew up in Oakland. So that's black enough. And that's what's wrong with our community, because we allow people to misappropriate us and we don't chin check them. Let me go say I'm Dominican and see what happens. Look what happened with George Santos. Talking about he's Jewish. He about to go to jail. So, people, when we come back, we're going to talk more about this. We're going to get down and dirty with this. We got a lot to talk about. So come right back. Tune in to the New American Perspective here on Millennium News 24. You can get us on Roku, Amazon, Apple TV, everywhere. Check out Millennium News 24. This is your host, Jania Butler, and we will be back. And we are back, people. I thought you wasn't going that far. Okay, so where are we? So again, we're with Vice President Kamala Harris. Congratulations to her for getting the nomination, though. Join me, Jania Butler, for the New American Perspective every Wednesday at 12 noon for an in-depth look of education, politics, economics, and entertainment from Republican and conservative views. The first of its kind on the Millennium News 24 and the Millennium TV 24 network. We will conceptualize and debate the rights and wrongs of the society, and together we will build the New American Perspective and share it with the rest of the world. You can tune in on all iOS and Android platforms, branded smart TVs, Roku, Amazon Fire, Apple TV. If you're around the world, Horizon Satellite. If you're in Europe or Australia, the Sky Network. Tune in to MillenniumNews24.com or MillenniumTV24.com. All social media, Millennium News 24. We're live and have the podcast at the same time. I am a citizen, and this is our perspective. And we are back here on Millennium News 24. A lot to talk about today, people. Let me take a little sip of my Millennium News TV, Millennium News 24 cup. The coffee is good. Shout out to my man, Muhammad Noor, owner of Millennium News TV. Works 24/7 because we're 24/7 here on Millennium News TV. 24, sorry. A little dyslexic, people. Okay. So we're talking Vice President Harris. Bravo to her for getting the support and the nomination and jumping out here and having the courage. Bravo, woman. I'm going to say woman, okay? Southeast Asian woman. Bravo. Indo-Jamaican woman. Bravo. You raised up to the thing. But people are, it's hard out here for a PIMP, Vice President Harris, because It's been known that Vice President Harris went to HBCU. She went to another school in California for her JD, her Juris Doctor, and then she became a prosecutor in the state of California. She was dating the mayor, Willie Brown. She was the hot girl in the market. He was 30 years her senior, and she, worked her way up. Catch 22, people, because how do you get there if you don't work your way up? I don't know. I'm not saying what she did was right. I'm not saying what she did was wrong. But she hustled her way to the top. And I believe you do, as a woman in America, have to hustle your way to anything. So bravo to her for that. Now, people are coming at her because she's a woman and they're tearing her apart. And I don't like to see that, people. I really don't. But I can't co-sign something that's not right either. 20 million immigrants. And then my real problem with stuff is she talks down to us. Remember, Reverend Jackson got the hot mic, I'm going to cut that. He's talking down to black people. Well, I don't have a hot mic, Reverend, but I understand what you're saying. My problem in this picture is when you tell me what you have done. This is what I did for you. I gave you insulin. I gave you lower prices on housing. I gave you we need the loans for businesses, not for cars, not for houses. We need business loans from the bank today. We're entrepreneurs. We're the biggest group of entrepreneurs in this country. The fastest growing group of entrepreneurs as women. Where's the plan? But you're going to give us all of these, concessions, baby concessions, like we got to baby walk through this. We don't. What we have to do is get involved in the election process. And ain't no baby walking nowhere. You see how fast the LGBT community jumped up? You know why? Because they banded together and they said, if you don't give us this, if we're not able to marry in this country, then guess what? We ain't giving you no money. We ain't giving you no vote, nothing. What can you do in the country? Before you can do stuff for black people, it's the power of the vote. And the Democrats know that all too well. But they need the black community as its anchor. And what I'm mad about in this election is it feels like it's so black and white. What about everybody else? What about my Hispanic folks? I'm going to need y'all to shout out Hispanic folks. What about my Asian folks? How do you feel about her saying that she's a black woman and not a Southeastern Asian woman? How do you feel about that? I don't know. But I want to hear from you. But you know who we haven't heard from? You know who? Can you guess? Think about it. White women. We ain't see no Hillary Clinton popping out and endorsing girlfriend. What's that about? Nancy Pelosi was like, she'll be a good president. I trust and agree on her. Ain't heard from Nancy Pelosi since. Madam Maxine Waters, I haven't heard from her either. Auntie Max, I like to hear from you, young lady. Don't go nowhere now, miss. You done led and guided us all these years. What's your take on Vice President Harris going for the presidency and they didn't put you up? What's your take on that? So this afternoon, probably right now as we speak, President Trump is talking with the National Association of Black Journalists. So, watch the plays, people. While MC Harris was at the Atlanta rally turning up, turned down for what? Well, she was doing her thing. Today, President Trump is talking to the National Association of Black Journalists, but not without a little strife. You know, we're not supposed to be talking with the Republicans. Oh, no. Massa said, don't talk with no Republicans. They might give us some money. They might give us a new deal, but we don't want any. We're fine with our communities how they are. Oh, unsafe, violence-ridden, trash all over the place. We're fine with this, and we're going to vote her back in. So, Trump's invitation was met with contempt from a lot of other top journalists in the association. They felt as though that he shouldn't be invited, that we shouldn't be talking to him, and we're giving him a platform. People, what are we doing? We got to play both sides of the floor. You know I'm a ball player, and I'm a good one too. But you can't play offense without playing defense, and vice versa. And you got to switch sides of the floor and go at the other basket. So now we don't want any. We don't want to talk. So one of the top co-chairs resigned as the co-chair for this year's National Association of Black Journalists. Why? Why? So we're not supposed to be having conversations. We don't want new ideas. We don't want to change our trajectory. The problem is, and I'm going to tell you the problem, people, the problem is the uppity black folks that got their money and don't care about the rest of the community now. They think the rest of the community is supposed to get crumbs. Supposed to work through them. Oh, come kiss my butt to get somewhere. Oh, I got somewhere. You could be like me. That is not America. That is not the American dream, people. We got to do something different. And I keep saying this. We have to do something different. So, different means opening up. And this is what this engagement from the Republican Party is. Now, Candace Owens, your girl Candace Owens, she didn't rip Trump a new one. Candace Owens then talked about Sonia Massey. Now, anytime Candace opens her mouth, it's like, oh, Candace, who are you speaking on behalf of? I'm going to say that she's just speaking on behalf of a common sense individual that doesn't know everything she needs to know about the black community. She got some points every now and then. She's a little harsh. She's married to a white man. She's adopted the process. I don't think a lot of Americans have. My family is very biracial. I understand it, not a problem. So Candace Owens talked about Sonia Massey. Sonia Massey, people, if you remember last week, we saw the body cam footage of a deputy officer shooting a young lady in her home after she called the police. I got a chance to see the video. It was horrible. So, and I watched the video from the point that the cops had walked up, and it was just, atrocious. So the cops had walked up, they walked around the yard, they're pointing their flashlights and everything like that. They go knock on the door. Miss Massey didn't answer the door for, a few, maybe 10 minutes or something, whatever. And she finally came to the door, and the officer was all cocky. What took you so long to get to the door? I was trying to put on some clothes, officer. I didn't want to come to the door unclothed. She said something about God in the mist. He said, what? So he was already feeling. Now, see, where Candace is wrong, she said he didn't shoot her because she was Black. Well, he shot her because he was racially charged. He was already looking down on Miss Massey when he walked in the house. Now, you're a cop. Our taxpayers' money pays your salary. You do not have a right to look down on somebody. Oh, are you okay? Did you take your medication? You are not entitled to talk to somebody like that when she's asking you for help. So they come in the house because they start asking her about the car. She said somebody came and dropped off the car. She's obviously, on meds or, maybe mentally ill to a degree. So they should be trained in that manner. We should see in the way they talk to her that they understand how to talk to somebody that's mentally ill. That's one. President Trump, this is why you cannot put federal immunity on police officers, because these police officers are not trained properly. And you cannot give somebody like that deputy immunity for making the decision that he made. So now they go into the house. They're looking around. She's trying to get her paperwork. Look, I got my paperwork. They asked her for an ID, or I'm looking for it. So then the cops said, oh, you got boiling water. Why don't you go turn that off? So she scurries over. She's cooperated, officer. She scurries over to the pot, and she's about to pour the pot out, and then the officer again. Now, Candace, this is where you're wrong. The officer again backing up. Whoa! She like, why is she moving back? He like, well, I'm moving away from you. Officer, I called you. Can you show me a little love? Just a little bit. Then she's got the pot, and she says, I rebuke you in the name of Jesus. He said, what? She said, I rebuke you in the name of Jesus. And then the devil popped out. The devil popped out and said, you better effing not. I'll shoot you in your effing face. He pointed at her and drawled up. She had a pot of water, sir. And unfortunately, this officer carried out a shot to her face, and Miss Massey died. So Candace Owens went on and said, well, this is not racially charged. He didn't shoot her because she was Black. Well, he did not shoot her because she was Black. He already was talking down to her and stuff, so there was something in there. Then Candace goes on to say, but what I do agree with Candace is, Candace said the Democratic Party, because Joe Biden tweeted, oh, so often in America, Black people are overlooked. Excuse me. I am a citizen. I don't get to get overlooked. There may be people that want to take us down, people that don't care about us and all of that. But guess what? I got my rights. And now, people, it's time to get our rights. It's not okay for the president to say, oh, so often in America, stop these cops. We're not shooting ranges where you can come and decide. Reverend Jackson used to say, they try to be the judge, jury, and executioner. That is not your job, sir. Your job is to make sure the citizen of the United States is safe. I don't care what color her skin is. If you don't want to serve us, get off the force. That's it. We don't have time for this. They were going down a list of over 100. I was looking at a list of over 100 people that have been shot by the cops. Why? Again, the urban dilemma. This is what our people are going through. The urban dilemma. The common, meaning the cops. Physical, emotional, or mental experience that people get when coming in contact with people of color of the urban genre of however you look at it. The urban dilemma. When he went in, he was biased. He didn't like us. So we can't have cops working with people that they don't like. Because then that could happen. Because when he sparked, and he's only 30 years old, and then, why was this man even on the police force? Excuse me, he was discharged from the military 2020, just 4 years ago. Discharged from the military with a sealed record. See, to me, I guess I watch too much TV because I start looking at those programs. What was the program where Jodie Foster was the assassin after she killed all the people, and then they used her to go assassinate and kill other people? I forget the name of the movie, but it's there. So I look at stuff like that. Was this guy a plant? He went to 6 different agencies, police agencies. Why did he jump around? Moving around for 4 years, and then he goes and shoots his life away for Sonia Massey. I think he was already ready for jail. And I think his partner did too. Thank God for the partner. Because the partner was the one who had his camera on. Now, let me ask you a question. Do you think the partner set him up? Do you think the partner said, I'm going to make sure I turn on my camera? Because he obviously thought that the camera wasn't on, because after he shot her, he going to turn his camera on, woman down. She tried to throw a pot of water at us. Sir, we just saw her go crawl down, crouch to the ground and say, I'm sorry. You cannot give somebody immunity that'll look at somebody on their knees after they said, I rebuke you in the name of Jesus, and feel like pulling out their gun and shooting somebody in the face. So now how ironic, people, black women. So this is what Candace is talking about, and this is what I agree with. The Democratic Party jumped right on it. So now you got a black woman. Y'all just killed a black woman. Oh no. So every black woman outside, every black woman ready to fight. That's so ironic that in the same week that Kamala Harris, the vice presidential candidate, woman running for president, black woman dies. I'm just saying it's a similar narrative. George Floyd. It's a play, people. It's a play. I'm not saying Sonia Matthew's death is part of the play. What I'm saying is, rest in peace, Sonia Massey. We have to be careful in this country because people are willing to use our lives to move the needle forward. We have to be country. We have to be careful. I know Miss Massey, the last thing she saw was this devil in that man's eyes. You better not. I will effing shoot you in your face. That was the demon. I heard him. So we have a lot to think about there, people, but pay attention. Okay, let's talk about your guy, J.D. Vance. Okay? I'm hearing, I don't know if I'm hearing it wrong, but But it sounded like everybody was talking about they was considering maybe JD not to be the presidential candidate. I don't think that he magnetized or, put anything out. I would love to see Trump drop JD and pull in Byron Donaldson like he was supposed to from the beginning. I think Trump knew that. But then when the black vote started looking good, I think he said, okay, B, maybe next time. Don't need you right now. Thanks for your service. I knew you was ready. I'll call on you again. Thanks, y'all. And that's it. But now I'm hearing that, they said JD Vance. See, JD before, and that's, if you don't know, that's President Trump's pick for vice presidential candidate. So JD in the past was a never Trumper. So they came together because JD supposedly has the evangelicals and a bunch of other people. And so did you see last week too, Trump was up there talking about to the evangelicals. Trump was up there saying 4 more years and you don't have to worry about voting again. The press went, wow. What do you mean? He's trying to be a dictator. I don't know how he always falls into silly stuff like that. Okay, first of all, he cannot by himself turn America into a dictatorship. Again, playing on our ignorance, people. If people are not educating you, they know you don't know. So if they're not educating you, they're playing you. Point blank. So JD, so he says that you don't have to vote 4 more years. Then he came back and said, well, I just meant after 4 years, I really don't care. You can do whatever you want. They don't like to come out and vote. I need them in that booth on November 5th. And Trump just getting his numbers right. I think what we have to look at while they're polarizing this situation, I think what we have to look at is the fact that Trump does not need the majority of the black vote. So while the Democratic Party is scaring everybody, and they should be sued for trying to shame people not to be for another party. They're scaring entertainers not to get involved unless you're Democratic, unless you coming out for us. They even got Kendrick Lamar. What are you talking about, Kendrick? I'm hearing that you coming out. What are you talking about? The gangsters in the White House, and the gangsters gonna go with the people who give us child support, the people who tell us, oh well, we lowered the insulin prices of you. Not how we get money, not how we gonna raise this community up, not how we gonna use this $684 billion that y'all are a small country with, and how we're gonna use this to make this money go around the community. They know how to do that stuff, people. They know how to do it. But they're not telling us about it. So Trump does not need a large portion. The Republicans never get a large portion of the black community. But the numbers, when I started out 2018, pushing the black vote to balance itself out. 2018, it was just me and 5 other people. I was open to talking to Trump. 2017, 2018. Told his son, tell your dad to go after the black vote and be sincere. And they did it. And they are sincere. But we don't want to talk. So now we at the table with the money, but the black people don't want to come up, and you want them that hasn't done anything for us to move our needle forward other than, we have given $5 billion across the board to stuff that doesn't come to you. Part of the game is that. What are we doing, people? We have to wake up and we have to play the game like the game is played. We can't want to be dancing next to the president and the vice president so much that we sell our culture out. invitation to the White House, and that's so good. Oh, did you get an invitation? No, I'm gonna stick my nose up. That's what you're doing, and you're leaving our kids stranded when we got plenty of resources, plenty of people, plenty of talent in our community that can clean it up. Get out the way. Get out the way. That's what I'm telling you. That's our show for today, people. You know I'm fired up. And let's get fired up, people. Let's get what we need on the table. Don't take no wooden nickels. Shout out to Aunt Edie. This is Jania Butler. This is your New American Perspective, and I'll see you next week.